What's up, guys? My name is Mike, and we're back with another very special episode of Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, our Chinese campaign, where we are embroiled in an absolute bloodbath against the German Reich in the middle of Russia, in the middle of winter, in the middle of mountains, in the middle of blizzards. This is just horrible. Our losses are getting to be atrocious. We've taken over 10 million losses in this war. Now, granted, this is including fighting against Russia, the Soviets, including fighting against Japan. But I mean, we still have an enormous amount of manpower left. But this is getting to be pretty ridiculous. And the big problem right now is we're still short on infantry equipment, despite having switched over almost all of our production, actually all of our production, over to Rifles 1. Now, we still have a long way to go in terms of building up our proficiency cap again. But I think what we're going to do, as much as I love these mountaineers. These mountaineers did a good job at breaking through the Russian stalemate over here in the Manchuria area. But they also take so much more manpower. So this division, or this makeup now, takes 700 infantry equipment. If I were to switch it, let's see if I switch it back to, so 500. We're going to take a hit on a lot of these categories slightly, especially the organization. I don't like to hit on organization. And the mountaineers are much better getting through the mountains and such. But the problem is mountaineers getting through the mountains are doing us zero good when they don't even have guns to do so. So we're going to do this. We're going to switch all of our divisions back to regular infantry. I'm going to stop all of their commands. Well, except for this guy. He will continue to do this until he's done done his preparations for invasion. I'm going to stop all their commands and let them try to build up some of their organization again. Hopefully that'll happen pretty darn quick. Yeah, you can see we're filling up our organization, filling up our fighting strength very quickly. Again, we are sitting in the mountains in the middle of fucking winter, in the middle of fucking Russia. So there's only so much we can do. The Germans are fighting back in certain parts. Don't really care about that. Okay, next, infantry, modify government. Nope. We're not going to modify our government any further. We're not going to have any national focuses. Standing by. Can you... Yeah, we have no planes. Air wings are not doing anything because there's nothing in there. Actually, there probably is a national focus we can do. One... Yeah, we'll do rocket effort. It's fine. Okay, so you see how quickly... I mean, we now have 51,000 stored up units. So that makes a big difference. We can always switch back over to Mountaineers once we get our factories in order. And Mountaineers might be good when we fight through Europe. But for the time being, this makes much more sense. So now we can actually throw some dudes into training. So reinforcements get the highest priority, yes. How many guys can we put into training? We need to add some more. We've lost 300 something divisions fighting through the mountains of Russia. So we need to replace those dudes. Okay, so we're going to throw these guys into training. Now we're going to have some more reinforcements come to the front line. How are we doing for organization? We're getting there. They are filling up. I mean, the Germans are pushing against us, so it won't be ever completely full in most places. But certainly better than it was before. That is for goddamn sure. A lot of green bars. Okay, so you are feeling good about your plan. You saying you're better. So why don't you two guys push forward, or start pushing forward again. I feel like once the spring hits and some of these blizzards are ending, like it's snowing, there's blizzards, we're fighting through the mountains. Once the spring hits, our advance will probably go a lot smoother. We're going to continue to suppress the hateful fascists. We're staying neutral. Not interested, especially now that we're fighting against the fascist powers, the Axis powers. We're not interested in their ideologies. Pushing forward, and now you're doing okay. Experimental rockets, cool. Jet engines. We're researching all the shit that we'll probably never end up really using. At least not for a good amount of time. I mean, it's almost 1946, so the war is, you know, over halfway through. I don't know if the game has a hard end, to be perfectly honest. Maybe 1950 or so. I know the technology tree goes to 1950. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a hard end. Considering how slowly these battles have been going, we may be fighting long past that. Okay, so we're still encroaching on 10 million casualties. The Germans are getting close to 2 million. That's a win for China. Good for China. Okay, we're still getting navally invaded. Don't care. Those invasions aren't going anywhere. We have more now. I think there's a way to... Because I keep manually assigning... can I just assign this to somebody? I can. So why don't we just deploy everything to China Fleet 1? And that way, I don't have to keep manually assigning, because I've completely lost track of who's in here. China Fleet 6 is in here. We've got a million like small fleets, so it makes sense to have a better... Or to have like one big fleet. So convoy escort, go here. Let's see. We have 26%. 28%. We still know too little to do any sort of invasion. What we should also do is, now that we have researched nuclear bombs and such, we should start building one nuclear reactor at the very least. Because you know those slimy Germans are definitely building bombs. And we don't want to fall behind. Well, at least with one nuclear reactor, we can at least start working on at least one bomb. Not that we have the bombers or the air superiority to really use it right now, but it'll be good to have in reserve if we need to. And we could actually probably build up an air force fairly quickly. Okay, so we are pushing forward now. I think that was a good move. I mean, there's still a lot of red. Kind of back and forth, but our borders are expanding a little faster now. Being that it's in spring also helps. Weather's now clear. And we have pushed past the mountains in most parts, or we're in the mountains in most parts, so this should go faster now. I hope. Yeah, they're racking up the casualties too. Once these new divisions pop out, then we'll be able to reinforce. We've lost so many divisions in this line here. This is a brutal disaster. Or a brutal slog. Okay, I guess we get naval effort. Naval effort. It's already researching, just lagging. Submarine offensive. Or submarines are very offensive now. Maybe we should start getting some planes. We're going to need like strategic bombers if we're ever going to use. We have some bonuses here, so we'll need lots of fighters and the strategic bombers to use nukes. So we might as well crank out some of these fighters. It's only 10 years behind date, or behind the times, out of date. We've got ourselves surrounded over here. That's fine. Push, push, push. This middle column is not going so well. But we have built up a ton of infantry equipment now. 80,000. So let's keep going with this. I just want to crank out hundreds of units to reinforce that line to keep the push going. There we go. The first batch is almost on the way out. You know, we will we'll do this once, and then we'll reevaluate once they hit the field. Because the problem is, once we field too many units again, then we're gonna run into the same problems as they try to reinforce. All right, advanced artillery, sure. All right, a lot of that red in the middle is now turning to green. We are cut off here. I don't really care. Deploy units. Why is it not deploying automatically? Oh, because I have no location set. Dirt. Okay, so location, we're going to set to... guess we might as well set it over here somewhere. Closer to the front lines. Okay, so 104 divisions just deployed. So we're going to grab you boys, and you're going to go into the middle where we seem to be having the most struggle. Do that. I'm also going to click and drag this. Let's do it more like that. Alright, so 104 new divisions coming to reinforce the front lines. Hope these Germans are shitting their pants right about now. Yeah, so now we only have 5k equipment saved up. But this will build up pretty quickly, I think. Another 39. Are you guys already doing it? You might be lagging behind because there's not enough infrastructure here for you to pull up. So we're capturing the horrible frozen north. It is clear up here though. It is the spring. Russia is beautiful this time of year. I'm surprised we aren't getting bombed. Balkan Initiative, what is this? He's not alone in seeing this threat in Central Europe. What? It seems like it's old. It's talking about the now challenged Treaty of Versailles. I think they're a little bit behind the times. They haven't been paying attention. Idiots. No wonder you haven't fucking like invaded. You're like, oh, maybe the Germans are a threat in Europe. After they've conquered all of Europe and all of Russia. Well, half of Russia. We got the other half. Okay, you guys aren't advancing, so why don't you come up here instead? Slowly walk over there. 14,000 equipment. Our nuclear factory is almost done. So now the question is, do I keep fucking around with this? And I think it's hurting me more than it's helping me. But infantry equipment 1 is definitely a drag. Do we start switching over some of this stuff to infantry equipment 3 again? To just try to get some of our troops equipped with the good shit? I mean, we are building up a surplus. Excuse me. We are building up a surplus now. Because our units are going to be using far less of it. Switching back to regular infantry versus the mountaineers. Why don't we do it in drips and drabs? We'll grab one of these production lines that's not yet full. We'll switch you back over to 3. So what is it? This is per day, is it not? A surplus of 688 per day. Okay, large navy or flexible navy? I guess flexible navy makes sense. Add some more units. Not that many. Don't have that much surplus. I gotta calm myself down. We're producing over 1,000 extra per day. Or close to 1,000 extra per day. Okay, so we'll switch over. We switch over 1. So 1, 2, 3. So that'll be about half of our surplus. So now it's about 500 extra per day. So we'll wait for those lines to maybe gain efficiency. As long as we can keep it at a... Oh, see. Now what's happening? Now we're taking some losses. No! Now we're got a shortage again. Fuck! Maybe because we're producing? I don't know. Now we have negative. God damn it. I keep doing this over and over again. I should just calm the hell down and not mess with the good thing. Okay. Go back to infantry equipment 1. We lost all that fucking efficiency. God damn it. It's my own fault. Okay, Fighter 2 is done. Fighter 3, I guess. This is still not ahead of time. That's good. Let's get Fighter 3. You can research strategic bombers. 2 ingredients for the nuclear cake we're about to bake. Eventually. Oh man, that was a terrible idea. I should have just left well enough alone. Well, I guess what I can do is I could cancel. I mean, part of the problem is this, because I'm using up a ton of equipment for this. So I could cancel a bunch of these guys and get that equipment back. Maybe I'll do that. Just a handful of them. Yeah, now we're going to be in a surplus again. For a short amount of time. Now we're in the negative. Fuck. Should just leave well enough alone. Should just leave well enough alone. Because we're only producing 40 out of the hundreds we were doing before. That's a big shot. We have these guys here, though. Ready to roll. So why don't you guys join the northern offensive here. It's okay. We're used to fighting without weapons at this point. We have 32%, we require 50%. So that's the threshold, is 50% naval superiority. Okay, so we'll just keep producing submarines until we have 50%. Rocket engines. Jet engines, good for us. Mechanized infantry equipment, mechanized 3, good for us. We've actually become pretty technologically advanced despite the fact that we're not using any of that equipment. Alright, so we've managed to sweep all the way to here. That's a good thing. More research available. I suppose we should get Marines. We might need those at some point. And we're starting to build our first nuke, so it's going to be done in a year because we only have built 1 reactor. It's a little bit on the late side. Switzerland finally joins the Allies. Good job, Switzerland. Way to come to the party. Now, if you would just like open up a front somewhere here, that'd be really great. Anything to relieve the pressure off of us here would be nice. Slowly walking over. The deficit's not so bad. And we are building up efficiency here slowly, so we might be able to recover that in short order. And then I think at some point until we're at peace, I'm just going to leave it alone. Every time I make adjustments to that, it just fucks me over even worse. Now we're at war with Iran, are we not? We are. So maybe we should get these guys to sweep down and grab all those oil fields. That would be nice. Submarine effort, that's what we're building, is submarines. Should we grab all these guys? And we have no more. We'll create a new one. And promote them. And you guys are going to sweep through Iran for me. Did that not work? We are at war with you, yes? Yes. Why won't it let me draw a line through you? Can I just do you manually? Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't let me draw a battle line through you. Very strange. That's okay. We'll see what happens if we fight manually. Okay, we got some more divisions here waiting to go. You guys can... Let's see. Why don't you come down to the southernmost division? If you're willing to move, that is. Perhaps, if you'd be so kind as to do the orders. Okay, so we'll let this build up again. We're now producing an excess, which is good for the time being. We need to get rid of this deficit. And you guys need to take Iran for me. We'll capture all those sweet oil fields. Still a little less than a year away from our first bomb. That's okay, we'll be patient. It's now September. We've made very little. Switzerland's capitulated. So they join the Allies and immediately capitulate because they get their ass invaded. Smart move, Switzerland. Should have just stayed neutral. We've actually made very little progress over the spring. I mean, we still haven't captured these mountains here, which was one of our steps we were supposed to be taking. So that's a bit obnoxious. We've now taken 13 million, so there's an additional 2 million losses. 3 million losses or so over the spring so far in the last 8-9 months. They've taken an additional 500,000 or so. Again, we will eventually win on sheer manpower. Are you guys doing anything? No, you're not. Why don't you come up north? No, you can go in the middle. This is just a gong show. A slog. It's a lot of red. $16-day shortage. But we are building up our efficiency again. That'll be a big part. Once these bars are filled up, that will at least help us out a little bit. They're pushing through with, looks like, tanks. 3 medium tanks and light tanks. Why don't you, let me try to cut these bad boys off. Stop this advance in its tracks. Not sure what they're pushing towards. There's nothing over here to grab. They're just trying to encircle me. That could be. Encircle these armies over here. Like a bunch of dickbags. Okay, let's see. Close air support, tactical bombers. No, we don't want any of that stuff. Let's look at the last submarine, I suppose. Submarine effort. I'll go nicely with that. And then nav effort, I suppose. Okay, so we've cut off their tanks like a bunch of idiots. Not sure what they were thinking. Okay, so we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with these 2 stupid tank divisions that are just running around like crazy people, and maybe we should throw some more divisions into training to keep throwing at the front lines. We will win. We will beat the Germans for sure. There's nothing they can do to stop us. So, but we'll have to figure that out for the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Much love, many kisses, and we'll talk to you soon.